Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered, are we alone? What if I told you that the answer to that question isn't out there, but right here in our own ancient history, even encoded in our DNA? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mind-bending theories ever proposed. The idea that humanity wasn't born, but created. Created by beings who came from the stars. This is the core of the ancient astronaut theory, a concept that re-examines our oldest myths, texts, and artifacts not as fantasy, but as a historical record of encounters with extraterrestrial visitors. And at the heart of this story are the Anunnaki. So who are the Anunnaki? According to translations of ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets, some of the oldest writing in the world, the Anunnaki were a group of deities who came to Earth from a distant planet called Nibiru. These texts, like the Enuma Elish and the Epic of Gilgamesh, paint a picture that's far more complex than simple myth. The story, as pieced together by authors like Zecharia Sitchin, goes something like this. Roughly 450,000 years ago, the atmosphere of the Anunnaki homeworld, Nibiru, was failing. They needed a specific element to save it, gold. Not for wealth, but for its unique properties that could be used to create a protective shield in their atmosphere. And where did they find vast quantities of this precious metal? You guessed it, planet Earth. So they journeyed across the solar system and established a base of operations, an Eridu, which means home in the faraway. This was their first settlement in what is now modern-day Iraq. The initial mining operations were grueling. The Anunnaki who were tasked with the labor eventually grew tired of the harsh conditions and rebelled against their leaders, Enlil and Enki. A crisis was brewing, the mission was in jeopardy. They needed a new workforce, one that was intelligent enough to follow commands and resilient enough to handle the tough labor. This is where the story takes a radical turn. Enki, a brilliant scientist and one of the Anunnaki leaders, proposed a solution that would change the course of our planet forever. He suggested they create a primitive worker and Adamu. And how would they do it? By taking the most evolved primate on Earth at the time, what we might call early hominids, and upgrading them. They decided to mix their own Anunnaki genes with the DNA of these early Earth beings. Think about that for a second. Genetic engineering. In vitro fertilization. Concepts we've only recently mastered, described in texts written over 6,000 years ago. The Sumerian tablets describe how they took the essence of the Anunnaki and the clay of the earth, a poetic way to describe, mixing their DNA with that of an earth creature. The first attempts, according to the texts, weren't perfect. There were descriptions of flawed creations, trial and error, much like modern scientific experiments. But eventually they succeeded. They created a new being, Homo sapiens, US. According to this theory, the biblical story of Adam and Eve isn't a metaphor for the birth of humanity, but a simplified account of the creation of the first successful human workers. The Garden of Eden wasn't a mythical paradise, but a controlled biological enclosure where these first humans were kept and observed. The god or gods in these early texts weren't ethereal, all-powerful spirits, but physical, flesh and blood beings, the Anunnaki themselves. This explains the sudden, almost inexplicable leap in human evolution known as the missing link. We went from primitive hominids to intelligent, self-aware beings in a remarkably short period from an evolutionary standpoint. Could this genetic intervention be the catalyst that sparked human consciousness, language, and civilization? The theory suggests that we were created for a purpose, to serve our creators, to mine their gold. The tablets refer to humans as Lulu, which translates to the mixed ones, or the workers. For thousands of years, humanity served the Anunnaki. We built their cities, toiled in their mines, and worshipped them as gods, because from our perspective, what else could they be? They could fly in sky chariots, wield powerful weapons of light, and possess knowledge far beyond our comprehension. This raises so many questions. Why do cultures all over the world, separated by vast oceans and thousands of years, share similar stories of sky gods descending to Earth? From the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl of the Aztecs to the sky-dwelling Kashinas of the Hopi, the theme is universal. Are these all just coincidences or echoes of a single shared global history? And what about the Great Flood? Nearly every ancient culture has a Great Flood myth. The Sumerian version, which predates the biblical story of Noah, tells of a man named Utnapishtim, who was warned by the god Enki to build a great boat to survive a catastrophic flood. The theory posits that this flood was a natural event, perhaps the melting of the ice caps that the Anunnaki knew was coming. Most of them decided to leave Earth and let their creation, humanity, perish. But one of them, Enki, the scientist who had a soft spot for his creation, secretly saved us. After the flood, the Anunnaki eventually left Earth. Why? Perhaps their mission was complete. Perhaps there were internal conflicts. Or maybe their home planet Nibiru's long elliptical orbit took it far away from our part of the solar system. But they promised to return. Could this be the origin of so many messianic prophecies? The promise of a returning savior or gods? Is it possible that what our ancestors recorded as a divine promise was simply the Anunnaki saying, "We'll be back"? Now, I know this sounds like science fiction. And it's crucial to state that this is a theory, not accepted mainstream history or science. Most academics dismiss Sitchin's translations and interpretations. But the questions it raises are undeniably compelling. How did the ancient Sumerians know so much about the solar system? Their texts describe the planets in our solar system, including their relative sizes and even colors, with an accuracy that seems impossible for a civilization without telescopes. They even included an extra planet, Nibiru, the home of the Anunnaki. Why are there so many massive megalithic structures around the world, like Pimapunku in Bolivia or the pyramids in Egypt, built with a precision that would challenge even our modern technology? Could they have been built with the help of advanced tools and knowledge provided by the Anunnaki? This theory forces us to look at our past with new eyes. It suggests that our gods were astronauts, our myths were history, and we ourselves are a hybrid species, a blend of earthly evolution and extraterrestrial intelligence. It's an idea that is both humbling and empowering. Humbling because it means we may not be the masters of our own destiny. Empowering because it means we have a legacy that is literally out of this world. So, what do you think? Are we the product of millions of years of random evolution, or are we the engineered children of visitors from another world? Is the story of the Anunnaki a forgotten chapter of human history, waiting to be rediscovered? The evidence is there, written in stone and clay, waiting for us to decipher its true meaning. The next time you look at the stars, remember, you might just be looking in the direction of home. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey into our possible past. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges everything you thought you knew. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning.